The story opens inside a buzzing online forum where thousands of fans are furiously debating the shocking finale of Love and Lies. Posts flood in every second, some defending the betrayed heroine with fiery loyalty, others swooning over the charming villain despite his unforgivable actions, while a third faction speculates with confidence that the writers have one last twist hidden in their pocket. The energy is electric, chaotic, and deeply personal. At the same time, a live stream watch party captures raw, unfiltered reactions, screams of disbelief, laughter that borders on hysteria, tears spilling down cheeks, and fans shouting at their screens as if the characters could hear them. This isn't just entertainment, it's catharsis, memory, and heartbreak colliding with fiction. Beneath the frenzy, the real core of the conflict comes into focus. The fans aren't merely discussing characters, they're seeing themselves. In every betrayal, every broken promise, every moment of weakness and forgiveness. In the midst of the chaos, the camera lingers on Kayla, a 19-year-old college student curled up in her dorm room, face streaked with tears. As the credits roll, she whispers into the dim light, almost to herself, "That's exactly what happened to me." In that moment, the story locks on to its emotional anchor, the blurred line between fiction and reality, and the way stories force people to confront their own wounds. Kayla is 19, a college freshman still reeling from her first real heartbreak. After discovering her boyfriend had been cheating on her for months, and she clings to the heroine of Love and Lies, as though the character's survival is proof that she too can survive, filling her late nights with forum threads and TikTok edits that mirror her own pain. Marcus, a sharp-tongued law student, insists to his classmates that he doesn't waste time on melodramatic shows. Yet in secret he pours hours into writing long, analytical posts breaking down each betrayal with the precision of a legal argument, using sarcasm to mask how deeply the story resonates with his own fear of intimacy and failure. Alina, in her 30s and newly divorced, scrolls through reaction videos and fan essays with quiet recognition, seeing in the toxic marriages on screen an echo of the years she spent trapped in cycles of manipulation and false reconciliation, and finding solace in the shared grief of strangers who seem to know exactly what she endured. The fandom has become more than a hobby. It is a makeshift community stitched together from pain and projection, where edited montages of tear-stained characters and live-stream debates serve as proof that no one's heartbreak is suffered alone. The stakes are clear. These fans are not merely consuming entertainment, but actively rewriting their own narratives through it, projecting wounds, fears, and fragile hopes onto every frame of the show, as if the fictional outcomes might somehow rewrite their own lives. The inciting incident erupts the night the series finale of Love and Lies airs, when a shocking twist sends shockwaves through the fandom. The heroine, after seasons of pain and betrayal, forgives the man who broke her heart. What should have been a triumphant ending feels like a gut punch, and the online world explodes with fury, disappointment, and disbelief. Forums overflow with rage, TikTok edits capture tearful rants, and livestream watch parties dissolve into chaos as fans feel personally betrayed, not just by the villain, but by the storytellers themselves. For Kayla, the wound is too raw, and she pours her anguish into a viral thread titled "Forgiving a Cheater Isn't Love. It's Self-Destruction," her trembling words striking a chord with thousands who share and echo her pain. Marcus, slipping fully into his cynical persona, posts a scathing video essay dissecting the finale with biting sarcasm and razor-sharp analysis, and his commentary sparks a firestorm of debate across platforms. Alina, who has remained mostly silent in the fandom, finally breaks her silence with her first public post, confessing that her ex-husband's manipulation and abuse mirrored the villain's tactics so closely it feels as though the show dragged her private hell into the spotlight. The impact of the twist ripples beyond fiction. What began as a TV drama has crossed the line into real life, forcing fans to re-examine their own heartbreaks, betrayals, and choices. In that moment, the series ceases to be just a story, it becomes a mirror, reflecting the darkest corners of their lives back at them. As the days pass after the finale, the fandom refuses to settle, instead unraveling into a storm of confessions, arguments, and raw vulnerability that bleeds across every platform: forums, TikTok edits, Discord servers, and late-night live chats. Kayla's post about her ex spreads like wildfire, drawing in thousands of strangers who either flood her with sympathy, calling her brave for speaking out, or mock her as being weak like the heroine, weaponizing the very story that had once been her source of comfort. Marcus's sardonic breakdowns surge in popularity, his subscriber count climbing as people praise his wit and sharp critiques. Yet beneath his polished words, he carries a secret. He refuses to admit that his disdain for forgiveness stems from his own father's infidelity, which shattered his family and left him quietly bitter. Alina, moved by the chaos, creates a healing circle thread where survivors of betrayal gather to share their stories, weaving a fragile but powerful tapestry of solidarity, only for trolls to invade, hurling insults that reopen wounds and force the survivors to defend not just their experiences but their dignity. The digital space grows tense, divided into factions that echo the toxic relationships from Love and Lies itself, with fans no longer just debating fictional choices, but questioning each other's strength, weakness, and worth. What began as entertainment has evolved into a battlefield of emotions, where every comment cuts deep, every story is a confession, and every interaction threatens to either heal or destroy. The climax unfolds at the much-anticipated Love and Lies fan convention, where the online chaos finally spills into the real world and brings Kayla, Marcus, and Alina together under the same roof. Kayla trembles as she enters the buzzing convention hall, terrified that the faces behind the usernames who mocked her will be waiting to judge her in person. Marcus rehearses biting lines in his head, preparing to dismiss the show as trash. In front of the crowd, his armor of sarcasm shielding the truth he has never admitted, Alina, quieter than both, sits in the back with a folded program in her lap, secretly hoping that in this noisy space someone will finally hear her story without dismissal. When the live panel opens for a Q&A, the expected fan questions about plot twists and favorite couples are interrupted by something far more raw: an invitation for attendees to share how the story touched their lives. Kayla's hand rises, almost against her will, and when she stands, her voice shakes as she tells the room about her ex-boyfriend's betrayal, confessing that watching the heroine's forgiveness felt like watching her own heartbreak rewritten. The audience, hushed, listens as Alina follows, her words heavy as she reveals years of abuse, masked as love. Her ex-husband's manipulations mirroring the villain's tactics with chilling accuracy. Then, before he can stop himself, Marcus blurts out his truth, that his father's affair destroyed his family, and that his endless cynicism is only a mask for the anger he has never learned to let go of. The room falls into stunned silence, the walls between fiction and reality collapsing as the fans realize the show has become more than entertainment. It is a vessel for their collective pain, a mirror that forces them to confront the betrayals that shaped them. In that moment, the divided fandom begins to reconnect, not through the characters on screen, but through the raw truth of their shared wounds. In the days after the convention, the energy that once fueled outrage begins to shift into something quieter, but far more powerful, an unexpected ripple of healing sparked by the very finale everyone swore to hate. Kayla, still shaky, but stronger now, launches a small vlog where she speaks directly to the camera about heartbreak, self-worth, and rebuilding after betrayal. Her words reaching other young women who see their own pain reflected in her story, and slowly her channel grows into a safe space for healing. Marcus, unable to shake the raw silence of the panel, finally drops his mask of sarcasm and pens a long-form essay titled, "Why We Forgive Villains, But Not Ourselves." Blending personal confession with sharp cultural critique, and it spreads like wildfire across blogs and social media, praised for its honesty and depth. Alina, inspired by the strength she witnessed and shared, takes her first concrete step forward by volunteering at a women's shelter, pouring her own survival into helping others find their way out of the darkness she once thought was permanent. Though the fandom still debates and rages over the heroine's choice to forgive, the larger truth becomes undeniable. The show, through its flawed ending, forced conversations that fans never expected to have, conversations that spilled out of fiction and into reality, transforming pain into purpose. What was once a story about lies and betrayals becomes something greater, a catalyst for broken people to find each other, to speak, and to begin rewriting their own endings. The story closes on a quiet night as Kayla sits at her desk, the glow of her laptop soft against the darkness of her dorm room, recording a final video for her vlog. Her voice is steady now, carrying the strength she has fought to reclaim. "Love and lies didn't give us the ending we wanted," she says, looking into the camera with tear bright. "Didn't give us the ending we wanted," she says, looking into the camera with tear-bright eyes. But maybe that's the point. Real life doesn't wrap up neatly either. The story doesn't end with forgiveness or revenge. It ends when you choose yourself. With a deep breath, she clicks upload, sending her words into the vast digital world. Moments later, comments begin to flood in, scrolling across the screen like whispered confessions. "Thank you. I needed this. Same pain, same journey. I thought I was alone until now." The scene lingers, not on Kayla, but on a montage of faces around the world, fans in bedrooms, coffee shops, and quiet apartments, some crying, some smiling, some simply breathing easier as they see themselves reflected in the community born from heartbreak. The final emotional beat lands with the truth that stories do more than entertain. They stitch wounds, connect strangers, and remind the broken that healing is possible, even in the spaces between fiction and reality.